guys, this is Deirdre Elizabeth, and today I'm going to be starting the first of a few episodes or videos that I'm going to make about redefining yourself in your 40s and 50s and even later than that. Okay, so a lot of videos talk about reinventing yourself, but I don't necessarily think that that's necessary, but I do find that being able to redefine yourself is a pillar of being able to really enjoy every phase of our life, every year of our life, from the time we're kids until we are into our 40s and all the way to 100 and beyond. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Trigger warning, at the end of this video, I'm going to bring up a few topics that are a little sensitive. They are topics that I or my family have experienced, and they do change the trajectory of what it means to redefine yourself a little bit after in your 40s and in these middle years. And they're really important, and they make a big difference in how you do that and how you go about it. So I'm going to bring those up, but I do want to warn you, I'm going to be talking about some sensitive issues and some personal issues and issues that might trigger some people. So if you're very sensitive or emotionally really not feeling 100%, this might not be the video to watch. So I'm going to start with a few videos, but I'm kind of going to jump into the general overall topics that I'm going to cover today. I've got a few ideas written down, a few notes, but I'm kind of just, I was going to say freeballing it, but I'm just going for it. Okay. So first of all, again, it isn't about reinventing, because you are who you are. Everything you've learned, everything you've experienced, everything that you have brought with you and gone through, good and bad, the challenges, the losses, the wins, they make you who you are. You don't want to lose that and reinvent into someone who hasn't experienced those things, okay? You don't want to become a new person, because all of these things, at the end of the day, if you're still here, they were a gift to you. They made you who you are today, and they have given you skills and abilities and strengths that are so transferable that you are able to almost jump into any facet in life, almost any area or genre, and be able to transfer all those skills and talents and abilities and resilience that you've picked up along the way to enable you to be successful in any new area. And that is redefining. That's redefining everything you've been through into a new direction and a new pathway for yourself. Okay, so that's why the word redefining is so important to differentiate from reinvention. Okay, a lot of people have a self-perception of themselves. Everybody does. Everyone sees themselves with an identity character. So I am been in healthcare and psychology. I see myself as a nurse and as a psychological professional. I'm a paralegal. I see myself as a paralegal. I'm a mother. I am now a grandmother. I have a 6-year-old little granddaughter. I am well into my 40s. I see myself as a daughter. I'm a sister. I am all of these things, right? You may see yourself as a mother, as a wife. I've never been married, so I can't say I'm a wife, but you may see yourself as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, as an executive, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, as whatever you've done with your life. We identify, we label ourselves with these identities, and we define ourselves by them. And that is something that we need to learn to change, because as we age and as we change through life, nobody sticks to the same roles. And as life goes on and passes, and we get to experience a new year after a new year, some of these roles drop off and new ones pick up. For instance, my role as a mother has changed significantly than it was. Now I have a new role as a grandmother as well, but my mother role is different than it was 10 years ago and 15 years ago. Okay. And so things change, right? Maybe you were married and maybe you're no longer married. So if you're stuck and you identify yourself, your definition of yourself is so tied to being a wife, all of a sudden you're going to feel lost if that marriage ends. If you're lucky enough that it hasn't, that's wonderful. But if it does, you start feeling like, what's left of me? As our roles change and as they transform, we start to feel like, what is left? I'm losing things, losing roles. But that is not because that is because we are not looking at what those roles gave us that is transferable onto new journeys, new pathways, new roles, and new experiences, because only part of our life is past. We've got another huge chunk to go. And every day that we lived in our 20s, not one of those days was more valuable than the day we're living today, or the day we're going to live tomorrow, or the next day, or we did yesterday. Okay? So we don't have any less opportunity. We don't have any less anything. We just have less, a lot of times less hope, because we have defined ourselves into a box of what we idealize and believe ourselves to be. And in our 20s, we don't do that. In our 20s, it feels like the whole world is an open opportunity. And this is where we need to redefine ourselves. We need to realize that the whole world is still an open opportunity, and that all we've done is gain a lot of tools to help us navigate these new opportunities and nail down the ones that we find ourselves most aligned with, okay? I want to talk about your needs versus your wants. This is huge, because once you're able to identify what your needs are versus your wants, then it helps you to identify what your opportunities are versus what is not a possibility for you. Excuse me. If you can hear, my chicken dog is crying outside the door to come in, but it's not happening. So, for instance, if you live in a huge, large house and you have huge payments and huge financial responsibilities, and they are a need to have for you, then maybe it is not an opportunity, a possibility for you to move into something more financially less draining and go back to school, or start a new career, or become an entrepreneur, leave your 9-to-5 and become an entrepreneur. But if maybe you can financially swing both, you can. Your own situation, you need to take an inventory of what your situation is, what your potential and possibilities are now, and what your needs to have are versus your wants to have. And then if you start eliminating some of the wants and just stick to the needs, how many more opportunities open up for you? And this is where an important part of this video becomes very relevant. The best thing I want you to do is I want you to make a smart graph, a smart chart. So you're right in the middle. You're going to put yourself right in the middle. And I want you to have branches. And these branches there's so many of them. I want you to have branches with your interests, okay? You're going to have your goals, your values, your belief systems, your dreams, things you always dreamed of doing, maybe traveling or like adopting or whatever it may be. Things you've dreamt of and you never did. Whether they seem realistic or not is completely irrelevant. It's going to be your needs, your wants, the things you're scared of. Very important. Get on that list the things that scare you, that you're fearful of, okay? Because avoiding those things and planning for those things is going to be a need. So that's really important to identify truly down to the core what scares you, okay? You're going to write down how you identify yourself, what your identity is based upon, what credentials. Is it, again, the mother, the executive, the grandmother, the entrepreneur, the gym girly, whatever it is you identify yourself as, and what creates that identity box for you that you're inside right now. And whether it's all good or bad, it doesn't matter. You want to get it out on paper, okay? And I'm going to work with this. And what I want you to do is, if you do this, I want you to email to me some of these things. I'm not going to list your name. I'm not going to say your name, but it's going to give me direction on the videos I want to make going forward. And my email is in the links above on my channel. And I want you to click it and send me some of these. Maybe it's your fears, your beliefs, your dreams, your values, what's most important to you. Send me your whole list, send me parts of it, but it's going to give me some direction. And I want you to know why I am qualified to talk on these matters. So first of all, my education allows me. I have a lot of education in humanities as well as, of course, medical science. You know that, in psychology and forensic psychology. But I have to tell you, most importantly, not only my age, but my experience. So I have lived through tremendous challenges in my life that have forced me to redefine myself over and over again. I have lost multiple jobs as a result and had to redefine myself professionally. And I've stayed within the same realm of professionalism, although I've made sure to keep multiple open doors for myself in different professions. So I'm a healthcare professional, but also trained and educated in forensic psychology. I'm also a paralegal. I have done all of these things to keep options open because I had to, because the way my life went was such that I've dealt with close in my family human trafficking issues, where it ate up years of my life trying to deal with keeping my loved ones safe and getting my loved one home with me and in a healthy and well situation where she could become everything she was meant to be and not have this horrendous traumatic experience destroy her future and how she defines herself. But in doing so, that is a full-time job plus for more than one person, and I was one person. So that is a full-time job that took me to having to leave work in the middle of the night sometimes because I got a tip or heard something and I was on the hunt, and having to do that over and over again until all of a sudden, like they're planning to get rid of you too many times. And you don't tell everybody what your reasons are because that's private and it's not your place to tell. So, you make excuses, and all of a sudden that job's not so good and you have to find another one, or you have to find another one. And these things change the trajectory of your career as you go through. So I am a professional expert in utilizing and verbalizing and vocalizing my transferable skills, everything I've learned, enabled to establish the next career and the next employment position and what I was going to do next. Now, I have changed myself and I've become an entrepreneur. I own my own business, and it is a challenge on its own, and it's really exciting. And I did this in my mid-40s. So you know what? There is no time limit, but I did have to evaluate my needs to have versus my wants to have. And that is crucial and key in everything you do. The other thing I want to discuss, and we will discuss on some of these channels, and I will discuss that past issue as well more, because whether it be human trafficking, whether it be you've had a child or a partner or someone close to you in your family that has dealt with substance abuse or mental health issues, all of these things throw off your experience and make it so you can't live that white picket fence life that everyone sees on Instagram. But it's also given you tremendous resilience and tremendous skills and tools that not everybody, people who have not experienced these things, never have the opportunity to have. They are like the golden hammer because they teach you how to not only put other people first and put yourself in a position to be a strong support and to be able to help others through it, which I am. I'm able to one-on-one help people through these situations and through these challenges, and to help them plan for it and to manage them. And even once things are all said and done, and like for instance, my family member who experienced human trafficking, I won that battle. And that wasn't the end though. That was a new beginning and a new challenge on its own. It was like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon, and now it's like raising a new life, okay? Because it was raising a new life. It was helping another life get on their feet and redefine, take themselves out of a box and redefine their identity. So I can teach people to redefine their identity as well as being able to do it myself. But the other thing I'm going to talk to you about, and this is another sensitive issue, which is hormone changes. In your 40s, ladies, and 50s, there is so much to do, and this comes from my healthcare background as well as personal experience. Hormone changes can play havoc with your life. It does things to you that you have no idea. Everyone knows about sweats and hot flashes and all this kind of stuff and weight changes, but there is so much you have no clue about. And we'll talk about HRT, and we will talk about all of these important facts and all the information that will be helpful to you. And it's going to be an exciting few videos. I don't know how many it's going to be, but if you email me those charts, those brain maps of the things that scare you and how you identify yourself and your priorities and your dreams and your goals and your challenges, if you maybe write me a little synopsis about who you are and your life experience, I can either reach out to you and one-on-one make contact with you via email, and we can talk and make arrangements to go forward, and maybe I can help you out one-on-one, or I can make a video that is for everybody, that is no demos, of course, not naming any demographics, but, talking about somebody's experience and doing a little bit of a case study and how I would manage this experience and how I would manage this situation, and my best advice and recommendations from my own experiences, from the experiences of those I've worked with and I've counseled through these situations and mentored through these situations, and through my education as well, and my professional experience, which has been vast. I have had experience working in healthcare, with the police. I have worked in social services with the mentally ill, with those suffering from addictions, just with everybody you can imagine, due to the different roles I have pursued and put myself in to gain a vast knowledge and experience, and just a knowledge base in life, because I love it. I love learning, and I love people, and I love being that support and a person who can help other people get through stronger than they started. So reach out to me via email. I'm looking forward to hearing from it. If you haven't seen me before, subscribe to my channel, and if you have, this is what I am doing for the next few videos. So I look forward to chatting with you all soon. Take care.